Hi, this is John Marshall, the DrillMaster, here with another video critique. This one brought to you by the Honor Guard Manual. This is based on the ceremonial guardsmen in DC, various techniques they're used there, kind of an amalgamation of the best techniques that are used by each of the services. And the manual even contains a training plan, lesson plans, and a complete training record for documenting your Honor Guards training. So it's a fantastic manual. Some of the feedback I've received on it is just wonderful. So let's get on with this critique. This is the LAPD Cadet competition. This is, I'm going to guess this is regulation drill. And actually, before I begin, one of the challenges that cadets and explorers have is, what standards do you use? Well, I suggest ceremonial technique when it comes to colors or other elements, other ceremonial elements, if cadets or explorers ever get into that. The other elements, I mean, they do color guards all the time, but as far as this is concerned, then just most likely a platoon type of regulation drill sequence done here at the basketball court. I would suggest, obviously we have two good, fully completely written manuals, the Marine Corps Order or the Training Circular. So I'm not sure which we're going to encounter, but that's okay. All right, as before, I've not looked at the video, but I did see that there was a lone cadet, so I went ahead just a little bit to get to the fall in. All right, here we go. Hopefully no lag time this time. Here we go. So I wonder what the difference is between the blue and the white shirts. Maybe the white shirts are initial, or younger cadets. Why? Well, hold on. What did you just say? Attention. Nobody says that. That's not a command. It's platoon attention or flight attention. Attention isn't a command. It sounds like it because you can break it up into three segments there, but that's not it at all. Also, when the cadets fell in, there was little confusion, kind of some turmoil there, which is not that big of a deal. But what's the first thing you do when you fall in? You get your dress, you get your cover. So I didn't see any hands go up, so they're it's too bad about the angle. I wish it was closer. I wish it was a little more centered. But this is what we'll have to deal with. No problem. But there's the spacing is inconsistent throughout the platoon here. Well, I'll just say formation for right now. Let's see what standards you're drilling under. Okay, so Army techniques, because why are you looking left? Stop looking left. Okay. Oh, maybe you're not looking left. All right, so I was looking at the squad leaders there. So now I'm going to make an assumption here that you are... All right, so first squad leader, why are you not looking right to your... guide on. Anyway, so I'll make an assumption that you're working with Army techniques. Maybe, since you opened ranks that way. So the timing was off on the open ranks, a couple of steps here and there, and then a couple of missteps as well. Arms should have popped up immediately along with the heads turning, the appropriate heads turning. So it looks like first squad leader, you're not looking. And I can't tell about the guide. All right. And when I say guide, I mean guide on bearer. Oh, wait a minute. So, okay, I just realized you mixed two different services. You went to dress right dress immediately after opening ranks. So let's go back a bit here. So that's not what the Army does. The Army opens ranks, and then if you need to dress right, then the command dress right is given. But the Air Force and the other services, we immediately execute dress right on opening ranks. So if this, yeah, several missteps. Oh, good, we get some lagging here. So, and also saying "oorah" as well. That, see, I don't know the context of the competition, but I'm guessing. Oh, thank you for zooming. Okay, so yeah. All right. Yeah, you've definitely mixed. You've definitely mixed services. So this is non-standard already, and we're a minute into the just over a minute of the team falling in. So the Army opens ranks with third squad taking a step back, second squad standing still, and then first squad taking a step forward. And we Army and Air Force will, the Army will just stay still. And if you need to dress right, then the dress right dress is called. But when we dress right in the Army and the Air Force, we either put the hands behind the back if the arms are too long, or the fingertips don't touch the shoulder next to you, or they do touch. But we cover down. Even though we're looking to the right, we have our arm up, but we're looking with our eyes. Our head is to the right, making sure that we're aligned to the right, but our eyes are looking forward, making sure that we're covered down. Now, the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard, after ready front is given, that's when they give cover. But the Army and the Air Force doesn't give cover. So now you've mixed a couple of different techniques here, which I suggest you don't do. I suggest either the training circuit or the Marine Corps order. Either one, but follow them. So the Air Force, the Marine Corps, well, the Army is the only one that takes the step back. Everybody else, all of the elements or the squads take steps forward. And then everybody on closing also takes steps forward. But the Army actually keeps the platoon in the same position. So we'll find out what happens. Oh, platoon attention. So when you're reporting, you need to salute. Reporting requires a salute. And you don't put your arm up also for the cover as well. And all right, since we're there, third squad leader, it looks like you're turning your head to your left. I'm not exactly sure. It's a little fuzzy, and the distance, but it looks like you're turning your head to the left. I'm not exactly sure. But squad leaders, don't put your right arm in front. That's a cadetism, to where you dress and then that arm goes up, but also you moved forward as well. Both of the second and third squad leaders moved forward so that you could get your, sorry for hitting that, so you could get your fingertip touching the back of the individual, of the squad leader in front of you. And that's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to have if you do this, which is only when you call cover and recover, not when you're dressing right. And dressing immediately after closing, that's not a technique for any service. Anyway, so you're supposed to have an arm plus 6 inches. So on cover and recover, it's the left hand that goes up. Lots of people get that confused with the right hand, but the left hand goes up, and the base squad then gets that arm plus a 6-inch gap. Now the 6-inch gap comes from here, from the shoulder. When we dress, the measurement is from the center of the body to the center of the body next to you. That's supposed to be 40 inches. And again, in another video that I made in the 50s or so, probably maybe even the 40s, average measurements were taken of average American males. All the males were measured and then averaged out. So we have width, we have depth from chest to back, we have not height, that really didn't matter, but the arm length, the step length, all of those measurements were taken and then averaged out. That's where we get all of the 30-inch step. We get the 40 inches all around for the distance. But that was average males. And that was back then. Well, we still use those measurements today. So when you are... I lost my train of thought. That's okay. But, oh, yeah, so cover and recover. So dressing right and then moving your arm forward to cover, to get that distance for the command cover and recover. What do we lose? Well, we lose this distance between the center of the body and the end of the shoulder, or this beginning, I guess you'd say, of the shoulder, which is about 6, sometimes 8 or so inches. So that's why we put an extra space at the front of the fingertips. But now you're too close. As soon as you execute right face, if you're going to, and start marching, then the squad leaders are too close because you've not compensated for that distance. So this is... I don't know what that was. So, guidon. All right, guidon. On the right face, pull up that guidon with the left hand, and then bring it back. Bring the left hand back down. Hold that guidon. Make that right face in march so that you're already... You don't execute the right face and then face again. You right face in march all the way around so that you can get to the base, in front of the base squad. And then you just let the guidon slide through the hand. You don't take your left hand over and then push it down again. All right. So, and look at the step here, Commander. What are you doing? You're also looking over. You've called the command. You should be looking forward. But this is a kind of a flare type of step, and inconsistent first step here. Some are late, some are on time with the commander. There's quite a bit of inconsistency there. You didn't say march. You said... So maybe this is a exhibition? So look at your alignment, team. As you're marching, look at that alignment. As you start stomping, that some people are... All right, we're going to pause here. So as you started stomping, then some of the team members are taking a shorter step for that stomp, and others are taking a longer step. So there's inconsistency there, which means that some people are moving ahead of others as you're marching. And then as soon as you get back into marching, normally you get realigned again. So that's a muscle memory thing for your foot, and it's also a visual memory thing where when you're marching normally, you're aligned, but then as soon as you start, because you've done that quite a bit, and you understand that visual memory of the alignment, but there's definite inconsistencies in the technique, and well, I'm just gonna keep watching, watch and learn. All right, there's the march. Maybe I missed it the first time. Okay. So this is exhibition using Marine Corps commands and some Army techniques. It's not necessarily it's exhibitionized regulation, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so since it's exhibitionized, I guess. What I'd like to comment on is, and I could bring up the my World Drill Association score sheets, but yeah, you can download them from my website to have a look. But marching constantly back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, it just didn't lend itself to an audience engaging performance. Yeah, sure. Some parents are there most likely, and they're gonna just be thrilled that their son, their daughter, did an awesome job, and they are doing a fine job. But you want to be able to bring the audience into the performance, and help them keep watching. Everybody. So obviously you're going to have a couple of people who are just bored and going to look at their phone or something. But you want to try and engage as many audience members as possible, and that marching back and forth isn't necessarily a good thing to do that. And neither is calling cadence all the time as well. Give the platoon a chance. When you go with fewer commands, it builds the anticipation of the audience. So that's part of audience engagement there. All right, gonna back up a bit. So you've got Commander, you're leaving extra steps in between the preparatory command and the command of execution, and that's not an American standard for calling commands. Now, Commonwealth, sure, you can call either one whenever you want, just about. But for the American standard, you're going to only have, and the Marine Corps technique of calling flanks is very long and takes multiple steps, but there shouldn't be 3-4 steps in between the those commands. So and you can see that it's messing with the members of the platoon. Some of them get it, others don't. So this brings up consistency. Then, when you're calling the commands, you're calling to the rear march. Well, when you're going back and forth here, but as when you were moving back away from the audience there, you called to the rear, step, 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 march. So you're compensating. It seems like you're compensating with those steps in between both of the commands for the distance of how far the team will get away from the audience. And you need to be able to call the commands better with the position of the platoon as they're oriented on the basketball court. So that's that then brings better consistency to the performance with your commands called every single time. To the rear, step, march. Every single time it's going to be the same way. Every single time. All right. And the same with by the right flank, by the left flank. Those extra steps in there are not necessary. And if you can schedule, for lack of a better word, the commands. Okay, that was interesting. That wasn't a. You can call it what you want. Right about. It wasn't a right about, but it was fine having everybody turn like that. That's actually a military band move, and it's okay. Not a problem. But you lost your guidon bearer, and so now. Now that brings the performance down a notch in the eyes of your audience, where you weren't able to choreograph the routine to include the guidon bearer. So now the guidon bearer has to run around and get back into position. And so did you want them staggered? Well, they were staggered for a while, and then so I guess not. Step, 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 march. So consistency. So alignment and spacing issues. 40 inches. Yeah, exactly. Just what I was talking about. All right, speeding up. Do you want them to speed up? Is this part of the routine? Or does this just naturally happen? With cadets and explorers, even with the military, marching at half step, marching at in place at mark time, everybody naturally speeds up. So I highly suggest marching with a metronome. Get a metronome app, a Bluetooth speaker. Use loud metronome. That's what I have on my phone. That's what I use. It's nice and loud on a Bluetooth speaker. It's okay on a phone if you have a small formation like a color guard. It's great. But if you have a larger formation, then you're going to want a Bluetooth speaker, a decent Bluetooth speaker that'll be loud enough to hear, and you can turn it up quite loud. So maintaining the same tempo while you're marching and marking time and half stepping is key. However, if you again, since this is exhibitionized regulation drill, then if you want them to speed up, okay. However, it could have happened better. So if your intention was to have them speed up for the mark time, then they could have, instead of gradually speeding up, which it looks like it was unintentional, it's just natural, and you haven't fixed that issue yet. But if you wanted them to speed up, you could have had them then use the Marine Corps technique, which I absolutely love, rather than doing the Mr. Ed type thing that the Army and Air Force does to get into half step, which is mark time march, bring that trail foot up alongside the lead foot, and then begin that mark time right then and there. And that would have been the perfect instance to then mark time much faster, if that was your intention. But I kind of doubt it was, seeing how it was a gradual speed up, and it got faster and faster. So it looks like it's more of a natural thing that you haven't worked on. And I also suggest, go to my website and look up the boxes of 3 method, how to write drill. It really can help you understand a little bit better of staging, and also the adding some more to the routine. Right now, what you're doing is just marching back and forth, and you're staying in platoon formation consistently, and that's okay. Except that it doesn't keep the attention of your audience. So, and after a while, just listening to the commander yell left, right, left constantly, it's not as engaging. So you're going to want to do something else to help your team communicate properly with your. This is not backstep. Backstep is 15 inches. This is more like 2.5. Hopefully you're not going the length of the cord. Commander, you constantly look at the team, and you should be looking straight ahead. With more practice. Commander, with you looking at the team, that shows that either you are okay. What's that? The guidon bearer is always at the squad leaders. Always, never at the opposite end. Whether you're in line or column formation, inverted, either one. And guidon, why do you bring the push the flag forward a few seconds later? It should pop out immediately. I know the floor is slippery. It probably would slip away, but you can anchor it at your toe. All right, so let me finish up with the exhibition drill information at my website. So it's really the only place that you can get some beginning moves. I've got several moves on there that are about the boxes of 3 method. It's actually a box of 4 steps, but I don't count pivot steps. And you'll understand hopefully when you get there and you read the information. You can download all kinds of helpful things to map out your routine instead of just marching back and forth and back and forth. And I know that the basketball court is long and not very wide, but you can still do some effective work here. And I'd encourage you to explore exhibition drill a little more. Unarmed is, you don't have to get rifles. You don't have to do much of anything else except engage your audience with some moves that are a little more audience wowing. I know that's not necessarily the best term that I could come up with, but like I keep saying, audience engagement is going to be key. And standing at open ranks and yelling back and forth and back and forth, I mean, there is benefit in that, but you did it at the beginning and then you did more at the end. It's just something that that isn't going to communicate very well to your audience. Now, I know that there are looks like cadets and or explorers in the audience, and they probably understand exactly what's going on. This is my first introduction to something like this, and this is great. I like it. I really do. I can appreciate what you've done here. However, there's definitely room to grow. There's a good foundation as far as marching is concerned, but I definitely suggest that you go to the resources page at my website, look at military manuals, and then download the Marine Corps Order and look at that, read it carefully, and realign with the Marine Corps Order if that's the way you're going to do it. You started off with some widely mixed technique there, and then defaulted to the Marine Corps style of calling commands for marching, which, fine, but be consistent all the way through. All right, so that's it for my critique. Let's see what else is here. Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, I hope my comments have been helpful. Thank you very much.